Hey, my name's Julian Faust. Welcome to the Profits and Panels podcast. Today I'm joined by Vickie Wen, the CFO of Reverse Energy Solutions. Vickie, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Julian, for inviting me to the show.
Of course, yeah, I'm glad to have you on. And I just love to get started by talking a little bit about how you got into the industry and how you started working at Reverse Energy. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey to get in there?
No problem. So the whole journey started really like it's not a traditional path, obviously. I'm an international student, so I came to stay for my bachelor. I was in Seattle for a bit, and then because I'm an immigrant, so I joined the local immigrant community called Taiwanese Junior Chamber of Commerce, and then I met the co-founder that I have today, which is Daniel too. We met there, and then he talked briefly about like how he's in the U.S. industry, how this industry expanded, and the potential of this industry essentially. Then I was really interesting. I was a new grad, and then obviously it looks really interesting to me, so that's why I joined the team. And then we worked out together for around like 2 to 3 years, and we grow the reverse energy solution until now.
Got it. Yeah. And so did you have this sort of background and interest in clean energy, or were you doing other sort of activities throughout college? Like, how did you find that passion there?
Yeah, so as I say, like it's a not too traditional path. So I was major in public health. So it's not related at all with the clean energy space, right? So at the time that I was searching for, so I was in McKinsey for a while. So we were talking about this whole clean energy thing, and then this green tech thing was such a bummer at that era. So that's why I discovered the potential of this industry. And then I met my co-founder. He was like, it truly does become a really high potential industry. And then that's why I eventually say, hey, no problem, that I want to try it out. And then because like my co-founder, he's more of a operational guy, right? So he's looking for someone that can go out, that is familiar with the sales environment in the United States, because we're both immigrants. And at that time, I do have previous experience in regardless of working with startup, working in the sales positions, etc. So I do have those kind of experience. So kind of complement each other's skill set. So that's why he invited me in, and then that's why I also see like my value for this company. So that's why we eventually become a team.
All right. Yeah. And I know you're more on the financial side of things, but how would you say you guys as a whole company decide to identify your target market and find certain areas or people to go after? Like, how do you find your clients basically is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no problem. So my co-founder Daniel, he was in the e-waste industry for around 8 years. So previously he does have experience in e-waste, and then he found it out that solar panel has a totally different market issue that need to be solved, which is a logistic, obviously. Like because like if you are a hard asset company, you have operational logistic will always be a problem, and especially it becomes more severe in the solar panel industry. Especially you look on the street that those bulky big solar panel loaded on a flatbed truck. For example, let's say a flatbed truck, as you can see, like it can only load around like 400 pieces of solar panels. So obviously, it's not efficient at all for some of the big projects. So that's why my co-founder said that, oh, this may be a maybe a good market issue to that are looking for solutions, right? And because he was in the AWS industry, so he could identify a couple of key clients that we can kind of reach out at the early stage, and then we can see if our products or our solutions have a good product market fit, basically. So that's how we get our first interactions with our basically first base of clients, right? Like early base of clients. And then suddenly we meet like me raising up a new approach, which I say like, hey, Daniel, let's join maybe accelerator, venture capital, let's reach out to more resources. Maybe there are a lot of network that we can reach out to from those accelerators. So that's why we started to join accelerator, incubator. And that's how we realized that energy company, utility partners, or like EPC firm are another clientele that we could reach out for. So that's why we eventually have another tail of client base that we can reach out, or like we did partner with right now. So that's how we reach out like the first two base of our client. And in terms of like those small clients, because we eventually hire another sales manager, and also we have another CMO on board as well, and they are based in California. So they do like client visit maybe every day, like I think every day. Yes. So they reach out to client every day. They drive to client office. So they do customer survey every day. So that's how we kind of identify our smaller clients. But for the bigger clients, we do go through accelerator, and we did talk to a lot of industry players, and then through referrals, then we get the first base of clients. Yeah.
So, of those two strategies, which of those has been the most effective for you guys bringing in revenue? Do you tend to focus on those bigger clients or a lot of smaller clients?
I will say like this has always been a really good questions for all of the startup there, right? Should I spend more time on developing a bigger clients, or should I spend more time on the smaller clients? I mean, as usual, like the answer is it depends. So for our case, we want to bring in recurring revenue, right? That is something that we want to bring in. However, due to the norms of recycling industry, because we do have to wait until the item is broken in order for us to recycle, and especially for solar panel, it has such a long life expectancy, right? So that's why for us having like those recurring revenue is kind of quote unquote impossible mission for us. So for us, our strategy will be like 20-80. So we always say 20-80 in our team. Like 80% of the time we spend on smaller clients, which is like project based, those kind of like, for example, like installer, solar panel installer who do residential install, people who do solar panel maintenance. They have like ongoing project with some of the community solar. They do have smaller amount of solar panel need to be recycled from time to time. And then we spend 20% of the time to develop referrals, as well as develop a relationship with the bigger clients. And we found it really effectively because although we are not bringing those bigger clients at once, but we did develop a relationship with them. And whenever they have project, that they will think about us, obviously. So, but we do maintain this kind of legacy because we do can bring in like smaller project from time to time, which can boost our revenue. Meanwhile, we did develop a relationship with like bigger clients, which some of them did give us some of the project right now. So I will say like for us is 20% of the time we develop key clients, 80% of the time we develop like smaller clients.
When it comes to you guys still sort of being in that startup phase, it seems like you're doing fairly well, but you're still growing. How do you guys maintain that quality, but as you're scaling? Because do you guys end up getting spread a little bit thin as the business is growing? How do you sort of tackle that issue?
Yeah, that's a great question. In order to maintain a service quality, we do have to prioritize or kind of move everything around. That's why when I joined the team, like the first thing I talked to my co-founder and said, "Hey, we need an operation team, so they can help us to arrange a schedule." So essentially, like our product for those who haven't looked at our website, like we have like so we develop a mobile dismantling factory for solar panel recycling. So we are doing a service for solar panel recycling. So in order to maintain the service quality is to first actually identify the most priority or the urgent needs for our clients. For example, some of the clients, let's say like solar panel installer, usually their most urgent needs is time, right? So they need those panels to get out of their warehouse, to get out of their client site as soon as possible. And for the bigger clients, like some of the utility partners or like EPC firms, they are looking for like compliance. They want the service to be as compliant, as detailed as possible, but they are not rushing all the time. So we do have to prioritize the client needs. So those service quality are driven from how we identify the client's priorities, right? So let's say for our operational team, they spend a lot of time to help us to arrange the schedules, help us to arrange the logistics, and we as a one that's selling our products or our services, we help them to accurately identify the client needs and the required time frame for completing the service. So that's how we distribute the work. So I would say like the work distribution in your team, and also realizing the priority of your clients is a really essential thing in order to maintain your service quality, especially when you are growing.
When it comes to that work distribution and you guys taking on more tasks as you grow, how has AI helped you in maintaining that load and sort of delegating work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So internally, like at the very now we have our own ERP, obviously, but before we have everything right now, we do use Notion. So me and Daniel, we built our own quote unquote ERP system on Notions and also own Salesforce on Notions. So what we do is that we use Notion AI to kind of help us to kind of lay out those things that we need to note it down. For example, like we say, hey, we need to build a sales page, right? We need to build a CRM page for our sales. So we just say, hey, we need a CRM page, and then Notion AI will just lay down all the things that all the things that we need on a CRM system on Notion, obviously. So for that, for AI, for us, like obviously the more helpful way of using it is to help us with the like daily or the admin work on a daily basis, rather than that we just use it on, let's say, like other people expected, like we will use a computer screening, like computer visions, help us to identify material or anything. It's nothing fancy for us, honestly. Yeah.
Well, what does your in-house AI look like? Can you say what that helps you guys do again?
Yeah,
You might have
so
touched it. Yeah.
yeah. So for us, like, just let me clarify a little bit. So for us, like, usually we use it on a daily admin job. Like for example, like creating POs, helping us to draft it down, like the CRM records, etc. Like we use it on those stuff, but for us, it's really hard to apply it on, let's say, the real operational work, right? We did come to a point that we did discuss with some of the AI startup out there. We're discussing a project related to computer visions, which they use they use a camera, and then they scan like the solar panels and identify what type of solar panel it is. We did come to a point that we are thinking about whether to have that project implemented to our system or not. But eventually we think that it's not cost effective right now because it's not our client priorities. But for us, having AI to join, like to help with like the daily admin job is really efficient.
And within the business right now, I know you're using AI, but what sort of repetitive task are you guys doing daily that maybe could be delegated even more so to AI at the moment?
Yeah, so right now, the only thing for us, like obviously repetitive job will be like the admin job. For example, like scheduling, truckload, scheduling, logistic, up to like, let's say sales, they have to have how many emails sent out to clients, when should they follow up. Those kind of job is something that we think that AI are actually a really helpful tools for us. But in terms of something that we haven't used on, it's actually the scheduling part. So this is a thing that right now we are working on, is to have the like the logistics scheduling become more efficient, which we want to implement AI into the system, into our ERP system. So right now, this is probably the only thing that I think we are doing on a really frequent basis, very repetitive, but we could optimize it somehow. So this is something that we haven't do it, but we are working on it right now.
Okay. And last time we spoke, you were talking a little bit about the challenges you face in the business, but what's the biggest one that you guys deal with at the moment?
Yeah, that's a good question. So right now, as I say, like we are solar panel recycling. We are a solar panel recycling service provider. So which means that we are at the end of the supply chain. So as I mentioned earlier, a little bit early on, that solar panel has its life expectancy. So it will last around like 25 years on the market right now, right? Most of the solar panel retailers say, hey, the solar panel will last around 25 years. And it does last around 25 years. So for us, it's really hard to kind of get the return order of our clients if they just got a big project like being recycled, right? So those kind of like those kind of periodic things, like those kind of things that really has created a burden to our company, because it's really hard for us to get a return orders, as well as like kind of have an accurate forecast towards how many sales will coming in per client, right? So because every client's in a different circumstances. But anyway, like for that is having an accurate forecasting due to the long life expectancy of solar panels is kind of like the biggest challenge that we have. And also as well as because solar panel industry are still growing right now, right? So the technology is growing, and we are creating a machinery that will disassemble the solar panels. So
Oh, nice.
so whenever the spec that is different, like so for solar panel, whenever the spec is different, for example, let's say if it's get rid of the aluminum frame, or like having a different like having a different solar cell, that will impact how we design our machinery or how our machinery will function, right? So with that being said, the advancement of solar panel does affect our technology and it's still growing right now. So a lot of unexpectancy towards our end and leads to like inaccurate forecast will be like I would say like it's a main challenge for us right now. But we are really enthusiastic like entrepreneur here in our team. So that we solve problems every day. So this is probably the biggest issue that we have right now, but we are dealing with it every day.
Yeah, and I know it's a huge struggle dealing with that where you might not get that recurring revenue from those bigger clients. So, are you guys looking to expand your marketing channels and get as many clients as possible in the future?
Yes, so we do are thinking about expanding our service providing. Like for example, like
Mm.
towards to solar panel cleaning, like the cleaning and maintenance and also solar panel repair. It's something that we are looking to expand into for the next following a couple years. So, but right now we still focusing on solar panel recycling because we still want to maintain like the core technology of our company. But right now we do are thinking about expanding to first provide a more comprehensive after sale package to our clients. So although they are not doing with maybe like they are not doing solar panel recycling right now, but they will still need our service at some point, right? So that's why we want to provide a more comprehensive package to our clients. So whenever we have bigger clients, like let's say EPC partners, they will still use our service. They will still stick with us from time to time.
Yeah, and so on the marketing side, are you guys currently using all possible channels? Like, are you growing organically on social media? Do you run ads? What's that all look like?
Yes. So right now, this is also a weaker part of our company. I will be frankly with you. Like we're still evaluating the effectiveness of using social media for our end. So
Uh-huh.
for now, we go with a lot of PR stuff, right? So we post on news, we post on some news, we appear in some newsletters for the industry, like right. So like we do post on those channels, but in terms of like our own like social media and our own website, we don't take care of that much. And this is also the goal. Before the end of the year, we have to clear all that things out. So this is something that we want to clear out before the end of the year. But right now, I will say like on a scale of 100, I would say we only use around like 10% of our marketing potentials. So right, like for example, like social media, we should more effectively use it, and like YouTube, probably something that we can showcase our capacity in our operations. Those are some channels that we haven't used before, but we are going to try it before the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that would be a smart move. It seems like a lot of other businesses, social media is the way to go. And at least for solar companies, I know growing organically and becoming trusted in the community because within solar right now, it's like there's some shady sales reps, that sort of thing. So every company wants to be seen as trusted. For you guys, it's a little different. You're only taking it off. There's not really as much trust that needs to be built. So I kind of understand why you're not super into social media yet, but I think that would be a good path to go for you guys.
Yeah. So for us, like we want the marketing to kind of build like as you say, like marketing is for us, it will be a channel to build trust. And then since there aren't a lot of e-waste recycler or like a recycler in general, they have a lot of presence on social media, right? So we do are evaluating whether this is a good move or not, whether this is a channel that is worth us to devote our effort into. So we do are still evaluating, but we are going to try it anyway by the end of the year. So we do have some project that is lying down for our marketing team. So I believe that before the end of the year, we can maybe give you an answer for that, whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah. And within the business right now, what metrics do you guys want to focus on improving? Mostly not like revenue, obviously everyone wants to grow that, but just on the operations side, where are the inefficiencies that you want to improve?
Yeah, so for us, for the company like us, it's really important to keep the operation effective, right? Or efficient. So that's say because most of our things are charged by time. For example, like labor are charged by hours. Let's say trucking are charged by distance. So a lot of things are have a measurement. So for us, it's really important to like optimize our workflow for our labors for our warehouse workers essentially. So for that being said, one of the things that we could like I really want to improve for a long time. So it's right now is to improve our processing time. So right now we can do we can process every panels, like we can finish process every panel around like a minute or so. But we really want to improve it into like under a minute or even 30 seconds. The reason why is that we can double our capacity, which means that we don't have to, because we have a mobile display factory, right? So which means that we have to drive down our mobile display factory to client side. So the less time that we have to have the machinery stays there, which means that the more trip that we can go. We can go to elsewhere, we can use it on elsewhere, and also like we don't have to create any kind of liability towards our clients, and also like less risk for us because we take back the machinery earlier. So improving like the operational, this kind of operational efficiencies is something that we will be focusing before the end of the year.
Why is it super important to get that part down? Is it because, well, from how I see it, I mean, you have one big project which is like hundreds of panels, and maybe that's like hundreds of minutes in it. Never mind. I actually see how that adds up. Like that, just 400 panels, 400 minutes. That's like a quarter of a day right there.
Yeah, a
Yeah, that's
quarter of the
actually,
day. Yeah. So and also like imagine because we drive down the machinery to client side, it's not only costing like let's say if we have less capacity or less efficiency, which means that we might double the labor cost because those frontline workers they are charged by hours, right? So we might double our labor costs. We might double the time that our machinery is staying there, which adds to liability to our clients, both to our clients and us, right? It's become riskier for us to kind of just have the machinery laid down there. So this is something that we want to just try to keep it up because it's also something our operational team that they sees as a this sees as an issue, and me as a finance person, I saw that cost could be going down, and we might like just solving a small issue, which means that having those having the workflow become more effective and more efficient will help us to cut at least half of the cost that we have right now. So this is something that we're really eager to improve for this year.
you got it. Yeah. And within the next year to 2 years, where do you guys at Reverse Energy Solutions, where do you want to grow to? Whether that's revenue, whether that is people in the business, like what does growth look like for you and what's the goal there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for us, most of our founding team we haven't raised before, and then after we do, so this is a really interesting story. So when I first joined the company, Daniel was in the US industry for a bit, right? So he never sees someone that raised in the recycling industry, that raised VC's money or joined any kind of accelerator at that point, right? So I raised up, say, hey, maybe that this is something that we can try because there's no one in the industry have done it before, and maybe this is a good option for us too. So that's why we joined the VCs and we joined accelerators and we have been venture backed, right? So with that being said, we kind of find a lot of possible path for us in terms of scaling up. And right now, I don't want to make it a close-ended question, say, hey, we want to grow it like into like 10x better or like 10x better compared to now. I want to say like in terms of my goals and Daniel's goal after we join the VCs or like the accelerator, they inspire us actually like to become a sustainable organization rather than a big organizations. So we want to make sure that our RES, like revenue solution, we are having a sustainable foundations that can scale out effectively. Not only for revenue, not only for service offering. This is a really comprehensive perspective that so for us, 2 to 3 years or 3 to 5 years, we want to be a sustainable organization. No matter we have a like we can talk about like no matter we want to have a standardized SOP for every department, we want to have a comprehensive service offering for our clients that like I mentioned, I want to provide more service to our clients, or we want to expand our clientele into different sectors, or like let's say just in general, we want to have a better team like culture, right? So those we can talk about a lot of aspects in terms of sustainable organization, but this is something that we want to make sure that we can achieve in next 3 to 5 years.
Got it.
Yeah.
And Vickie, thanks so much for joining us today. Where can our audience find you online and Reverse Energy Solutions online?
Yeah, you can simply have found us online by just typing in LinkedIn. We are more active on LinkedIn, so feel free to reach us out on LinkedIn. And if you have any question or any service need that you want to recycle a solar panel at some point, feel free to find it. Feel free to find us. Yeah,
Thank you, Vickie.
no problem. Thank you.